Hi everyone, it's Leonie here from WCKI with yet another exciting project for you to tackle. This is a little nice, warm, squishy, slouchy hat. It doesn't look like a slouchy hat at this point in time because I don't have a head to model it for you, but once you put it on, we just squish it in a little bit and it can kind of hang like that. Trust me, or believe me, I'm telling the truth. In order for you to do this little slouchy hat, it's quick. You could possibly finish it in a day, and once you get the hang of it, you might do 2 a day. But for this hat, I used my charity wool, as you can see there in the background. Also, the charity wool asks for a 4mm needle. Let me just show you if the camera can catch that for us. Is it zooming? Oops, hold on, let's just try and zoom this now. It's asking for a 4mm, but I used a 5.5, simply because I want it not to be too tight. I have noticed that with the charity wool, a 4mm, it sometimes makes the work too stiff, too tight. So that's why I used a 5.5 of this, because the stitch I'm going to use here, we're going to use front post and back post crocheting, and if it's too tight or too stiff, you know, you're going to battle to get the needle through, or the crochet hook through, which is why I then chose to use a 5.5. And my tension using a 5.5 crochet hook on the charity worked out exactly according to what the pattern asks. So let us hope that yours will do the same. And sorry about that, I forgot to cancel all notifications. Sorry, that won't happen again. Yes, so let's get down to it. A 5.5mm crochet hook, and I'm going to add some colors to mine. This one is just in plain red, but on the next one I'm going to do it in beige, and I'm going to use that lovely color there in the background. Entirely for you to decide what you would like to do. I've made them where they start off here with a light gray, going into a darker gray, and then ending in black. They came out rather lovely. Client was extremely happy with the color combinations. So remember, you can either do 2 color changes on this, or 1 color, as I have done here in the red. You will need in total, you'll get away with a 100-gram ball of charity wool now. Remember, and there I'm remembering again, sorry, terrible habit of mine. Although it says 100 gram and it's a double knit, just check the yardage or the meterage that you have on it, because they're not all the same. So if you go get another 100-gram ball and you maybe not get it finished, you're going to possibly shout at me, but always just check that this one says on this 100-gram ball there's approximately 233 meters. So just make sure that when you buy wool that you have it in that same region. And then again, I'm using a 5.5. You might use a thicker wool. So if you're going to use a chunky, I think for instance if you use the pure gold chunky, which is a 100-gram ball, however on the pure gold chunky it only has, let me just check here, 150 meters on. So you can see there's a significant difference. So please check your wool, rather make sure that you've got enough. And yes, let's jump in. So again, if you want to use the same wool that I've got here, charity double knit with a 5.5mm crochet hook. So let me get this out the way and I'll see you soon. Right, let's get going. I'm going to use my beige now to start with my slouchy hat. Now this pattern is worked from the center down, so in other words from the top down. So if you look at it, we're going to start here and we're going to work our way down. So that's where we're going to start. So if I do this to the hat, we are going to start right there. Starting off with a slip knot. So you can just move the camera here slightly. I've just noticed I'm a bit off center here. Sorry about that. Starting with the slip knot, I wind the wool around my finger, take the working yarn to the back of my loop, putting in the crochet hook and pulling it tight slightly. Not too much, because we need to get into that stitch now. We're going to start off by making 4 chains. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and close the ring by making a slip stitch into the first stitch. We do that by putting the yarn over and pulling it through both those loops, and there we have our slip stitch. I am going to keep my tail end and weave it in as we crochet along, so I'm not going to cut that off quite yet. There is my little circle, and now in order for us to start the next row, or the next round rather, sorry, we're going in the round, I need to make 12 double crochets. In order for me to start, I need to bring up the yarn. So to do that, I'm going to crochet 3. 1, 2 and 3. And my 3 chains, these first 3 chains replaces my first double crochet. So remember I said that I need a total of 12 double crochets, but this one is already made now, so that counts as my first one. So I'm going to have to make 11 more double crochets. So let's go. Wool over needle, put it through the center of the ring that you've just made, grab the yarn from behind, bring it up, wool over needle, pull through the first 2, the first 2, wool over, and the last 2. Let's do it again. Wool over or yarn over, depending on which part of the world you're from. Sometimes we call it yarn, sometimes we call it wool. It's the same. But wool over the needle, enter through the center of the ring, grab the yarn from behind. You now have 1, 2, 3 loops on your crochet hook. Wool over, pull it through the first 2 stitches, wool over, and pull it over the last 2, through the last 2 stitches. I now have 1, 2, 3. If you see you're going to run out of space because they tend to fill up, as well as we're using a rather large needle and the wool gets thick, just pull it across. Let's just line them up a little bit and make space. See, now they're all snug next to one another. Now we can add more double crochets, and I am taking my tail still across the top. I'm weaving it in as we speak, or as we crochet. Let's do another double crochet. Wool over needle or crochet hook into the center, grab the yarn from behind, bring it up, wool over once again. You now have your 4 loops. Pull through the first 2, yarn over, and pull through the next 2. Now we've got the 4 double crochets. I need a total of 12, like we've already mentioned, and my 3 chains at the start replaces my 1 DC, my double crochet. So I'm going to need 3 chains plus 11 double crochets. When you get to the end of your row, you will close off the gap by putting a slip stitch into the 3rd chain that we've made here on our first stitch. And I will see you at the end of this round. And there we have it. I've done my 12 double crochets. First double crochet was replaced with 3 chains, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. There we have it. Now before we carry on, I would just like to snip off my tail that I have here. I'll just give it a slight tug to make sure that it's nice and snug, and proceed with caution, and we snip off the tail end. There we have that end all worked away now. Now in order to close this gap, we'll do that with a slip stitch into our third stitch that we've made. So into the third chain on the first DC, 1, 2, 3, you enter the crochet hook in there. Now always remember that you shouldn't make your stitches too tight, because otherwise you're not going to get the needle in, like I'm battling here now. Sorry, no man, I wasn't watching what I was doing, so now I've pulled it slightly too tight, so let's just wiggle the needle in there. There we go. Wool over, pull through. I really pulled it tight, and then just pull it through. There we go. And there's our starting circle for our hat. In the next row, we're going to have to do some increasing now, because remember we start off like this, but we have to go wider as well as increase the stitches. Otherwise, this thing is going to buckle all kinds of directions for you. And we don't need it to buckle quite yet. Although we need it to round and move down, like you can see here. Now it does form the roundness, but then it starts growing down as we go. We need to add stitches in order to get this whole effect going here. So in this row, we started off with our 12 double crochets. In the next round, I'm going to do 2 stitches in each and every stitch from the previous round in order to increase it. So when I'm done with this row, I should have 24 stitches. So I'm just trying to zoom the camera a little bit. There we go. Let's try this again. My camera's gone out of focus. All right, let's carry on. Now, when we start with a new row, our first double crochet is always replaced with chain 3. So let's go. 1, 2, 3. Remember not to pull this one too tight, because we need to do a slip stitch. When we're done with this round, we're going to slip stitch into the third stitch, and if it's pulled too tight again, we're going to battle to get it in. So now what I'm going to do, in the same space here where I've now just done my chain stitch, can you see that little space that I've got right there? I am going to add a double crochet because I am increasing. So put it through, grab the yarn from behind, bring it up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I've got 2 stitches in that space. Yarn over into the next chain. Put the needle, your crochet hook through. Remember, whenever I say needle, it's a crochet hook, all right? Put it through so you can see both the loops on the needle, on the crochet hook. Yarn over, bring it through. 1 and 2, and there's the stitch done. But now, in this row, we need to add 2 double crochets in each stitch from the previous round. So let's do another one. Yarn over and into that same space there, yarn over, bring up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now I've done my 2 stitches. So into the 2 stitches from the previous round, I now have 4 double crochets. Let's continue. Let's do one more together, and then I'm going to leave you so you can finish your round. Into the next stitch, there's my first double crochet and my second double crochet. And that is all you're going to do right around. Double crochet 1 and 2 into the same stitch. One more. Double crochet the first stitch and double crochet the second stitch into the same space. Do this around, so when you get to the end, we started off with 12 double crochets here. When we're done here, we should have 24 double crochets. And there we have it. We started off with chain 3 and 11 double crochets to give us a total of 12 double crochets. And in this, the second round, we started off with our chain 3 and then a DC, a double crochet into the same stitch, and then 2 double crochets into each stitch of the previous round, giving us 24 double crochets. If you are here, you've got 24 double crochets, you are happy with what it looks like. As you can see, it is currently lying nice and flat, no buckling yet, or no shaping yet. Now we've just got our 24 stitches, and we're going to end off this round. That's knitting talking there when I say row. Finish off this round by closing it up with a slip stitch into the third chain. And let's just do that. And there's our slip stitch. Right, happy to move on to the next row. The next row is an increase row, which means that we'll have to increase the stitches again in order to start with our shaping. Now, increase, we're going to add stitches to it. If it's decrease, we will start taking stitches away or decreasing our stitches. But for this round, we are going to increase. Once again, we start off with our chain 3. Please remember that because we are working with double crochets, that the first double crochet is always replaced with 3 chains. So let's start. 1, 2, and 3. There's my chain 3 to start off with. Now remember, we did 2 stitches into the previous row. So now I've got them here. So this is my 1 stitch that I'm going to make here. Into the next stitch that I made in the previous row, this one over here, I am going to do a double crochet as per normal, just like that. But this is an increase row, so I'm going to increase. And right here where I've done this stitch, I'm going to add a double crochet. However, it's going to be with a slight difference. I'm going to do a front post double crochet. What that means is that I'm still going to make a double crochet, but I'm going to do it like this. So on the front of your crochet work, I'm going to push the crochet hook in between the stitches there, hook it like that, grab my yarn and bring it through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Can you see it will make a slight raised effect on your crochet work now? If you don't see it on the first stitch, you will definitely start seeing it when you get to the next one, as well as when we get to the next round. It will become more prominent and you will start seeing your stitches pulling out like this or raising up like that. All right, so that was the first one. So we chain 3, we make 1 DC, and then we do a front post DC. Next stitch, into the stitch, and we just make a double crochet and only 1 stitch. Next stitch is going to be 2 again, double crochet, and then a front post double crochet, just like that. So you will notice now that we have used 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. So it's 1 stitch into the stitch from the previous round. The next one we put 2 stitches into the stitch from the previous round, but it's DC, double crochet, front post double crochet. Let's do it again. double crochet, move on to the next stitch, double crochet, but we also do a front post double crochet on this stitch. And can you notice here it's starting to form a little bit of a, it's getting raised now. It's starting to show the pattern. Let's do it again. Double crochet. Next stitch we do another double crochet plus a front post double crochet. Let's carry on. Double crochet, oops, double crochet plus a front post double crochet. Your front post double crochet is at this point the increased stitch that we are making. So every time we do a front post, because we're doing the second stitch then there, that is where we are increasing our stitches. Let's carry on. Normal double crochet, next stitch a double crochet plus a front post double crochet, just like that. Now you can carry on for the rest of the round, and I'll meet you right here. And there we finish this round now. What you can do is just count your stitches. Every time you see a raised stitch, it means you finished like a group of 3. So just count them. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 raised stitches. So that means I've got my 36 stitches, so I'm quite happy. Happy with that? You will notice now when we start with our next round, we're going to have a slight dome starting to form. So it's perfectly normal. And you can see when I do that, our hat is starting to take shape. Let's close off this round by just adding our slip stitch. Once again, 1, 2, 3 into our third chain from the bottom. We just do a slip stitch, pull through and pull through, and there we go. That round has been completed. The next round is going to be another increase round. So I'm just getting some yarn here. We're going to have another increase round, but it's going to be slightly different to the one that we've just done here. We are going to start off by doing 2 stitches in our first stitch. So let's start. Chain 3, and in the same space we put a double crochet, and there we have it. Now we move on to our next stitch. So we're going to just do a normal double crochet, and you should now be in line with your raised stitch that you've done in the previous row. Here, once again, when you get your raised stitch, we're going to do a front post double crochet. So again, we push the needle behind the post, and we grab the yarn, bring it over, pull through 2 and pull through 2. So now we've added a stitch in our group of stitches that we have here. In the previous round it was double crochet, front post. Now we've got double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, front post. So let's go into the next cluster. Double crochet. Now remember, we are increasing. So into that same stitch, double crochet. then just 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then a front post double crochet again. Remember that you must do your front post in exactly the same stitch as from the previous round. We need to have this continuity going here with our raised stitch. Let's do one more, then I'll leave you to do this on your own. So after you've done your front post, into the next stitch, we're going to make 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and 2. Here we go. And then double crochet into the next stitch, and then a front post double crochet. Happy with that? If you want to, you can just rewind the video at this point and just go and see if you've missed a step somewhere. But let's do another one, and then I'm going to leave you so you can do this on your own. Double crochet 1 and double crochet 2 into the same stitch. Then double crochet, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Just recap here quickly. 1, 2, 3. And do a front post double crochet. So the previous round, your little group consisted of 3 stitches. Now it consists of 4 stitches. Carry on like this to the end of the round and close it off with a slip stitch into the 3rd chain, and I'll see you there. Now if you put our item or little project down, can you see there I can actually curl it up? But of course that's not the aim. We need to curl it the other way. But just to show that it's happening. Your shaping has started. There we go. So that's how our the start of our slouchy hat, our beanie, our keep our ears warm hat. The next round, I'm going to now teach you another stitch. Please remember that throughout we're only using double crochets and chains. But here we had front post, double crochets, and now I'm going to teach you to do the back post double crochet. There's no increasing in this round, so you've got 4 stitches, 3 DC and a front post, 3 DC and a front post. Please check your work, and if you don't have 3 DCs and then a front post, please do unpick it, unfortunately, and get it right, because otherwise your pattern is not going to work out. We can't just add stitches now and try and make it work, because we have to have continuity with our raised stitches that you can see here. So in this next round, I'm going to show you how to do the back post double crochet. 1, 2, 3 raised stitch, or our front post. 1, 2, 3 raised stitch, our next front post. So we're only going to work on these stitches now. So there's no increase in this row. Let's go. Starting off with our 3 chains. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to do the back post into the next 2 stitches. So what I'm going to do with my yarn over needle, I'm going to go behind. Can you see that? I'm going to grab the yarn. Oops, I almost did a double now. Grab the yarn, bring it through. So I'm going to just do it like this so you can see. There comes my yarn. Let's do it again. Yarn over needle. Push it in through the back. Can you see it's now in the back like that? Yarn over, bring it through. Still got my 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through, pull through 2. There's my first one. Let's do it again. Yarn over, push in from behind, go back out, grab the yarn, have my 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. What happens now is that these stitches are being pushed forward. So you're starting to get a little line running across here. So now we've done our 3 chains, back post, and in our front post, we're going to keep it as a front post crochet. Yarn over, now we come from the front, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Can you see my line that's starting to form here now? Let's do another cluster. This is not a cluster stitch, sorry, let's just do the next cluster of stitches here. Yarn over, behind, bring through your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, yarn over, go in from behind around the stitch, around your post, bring up the yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Remember to relax your hand and not clench your crochet hook like that, and not to pull this yarn too tight, because then it becomes uncomfortable, you can't get in. Bearing in mind this is possibly the first time that you're doing it, so if it's a bit tight, just relax and rather pull out the entire row and do it again, but make sure that it's not too tight, otherwise you won't be able to get in and out of these stitches. Which is why I use a 5.5 on my charity, because I need to make sure that I've got some gaps so I can get in between the stitches. Let's do our last back post one for this set. Yarn over, go through the back, bring up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So there we've got 3 stitches in a back post. So we've got 3 back post double crochets. So if you would like to know what the abbreviation would be, it would be B, back post, P, and DC for double crochet. But I'll put it up there on the screen so that you can see it. Now a front post crochet, yarn over, and make our DC. And there you have it. So you're going to work in exactly the same 4 sets at the group of 4 stitches in exactly the same way. No increasing, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet. However, back post, back post, back post, and front post double crochet. Let's do one more set, and then I'll leave you to try this on your own. Yarn over, back post, back post, back post, and front post. So it's 3 back post double crochets and 1 front post double crochet. Have fun with this round. I'll see you at the end of it, and remember that when you get to the end of your round, you can finish it off by adding a slip stitch into the 3rd chain. See you over here. It's really starting to look rather lovely now. You see, my dome is busy growing here. We're getting there. Now, the next row is another increase row. Now we've had 4 stitches between our raised stitch. It's 1, 2, 3, and our raised stitch is a 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 raised stitch. Now this row we're going to do another increase row, and we are going to increase into the 1st stitch. And we are just going to use normal double crochet and front post crochets for this round. So let's go. As always, we start off. Our first DC will be our 3 chains, 1, 2 and 3, and we are going to do another stitch in here, another DC, then double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, and then we're going to do our front post yet again. So remember that we always do a front post on the raised front post stitch from the previous round, because we have to keep this flow going here of the line that's busy developing. So let's go. Increase row, remember, so that's 2 double crochets into this first stitch after your whoopsie, not like that though. 2 stitches, 2 double crochets into your first stitch, then there's the next one, number 3, and double crochet 4, and then front post double crochet. Easy. I knew you could handle this. You've got this one. Let's do another increase. 2 stitches into the same stitch from the previous round, and then double crochet, double crochet, and front post double crochet. Awesome. You've got this. Can you see how lovely this is starting to look? I get excited every time I make something. 2 stitches, then 1 each in the next double crochets, and then a front post double crochet. So your little group now has got 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets and a front post double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, front post double crochet. I'm going to leave you to finish this round, and when you get to the end, slip stitch into your 3rd chain. Have fun. Right, we have finished this round now. You have closed off the gap by making a slip stitch into your 3rd chain. Now the following row is going to be our back post double crochets, but let's just make sure that we have the correct number here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 front post, 1, 2, 3, 4 front post. If you don't have those numberings, please recheck your work and get it to be exactly the same, because if not, we are going to have a bit of a challenge in getting the rest of our beanie / slouchy hat done. So now, as always, we start off the row with 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and now where we've made our standard double crochets in the previous round, in this round we're going to have back post double crochets, and we all know in order to do that we'll go behind. There's our second one for the group, our 3rd double crochet through the back loop, and our 4th double crochet in the back loop. Now we get to our raised stitch, or our front post double crochet. I just need some more wool there, and now we'll go front post. So there's no increase in this row, only let's do the next set of stitches here. 1, and 2, 3, and our 4th back post. Not that many. Just be careful that you don't do what I've just done, where you accidentally grab some of the other loops. or miss them all together. There we go. Finally, there's our 4th back post, and now we do a front post double crochet. And that is how you will complete this round. You will do your 4 back post double crochets and then 1 front post double crochet. Again, I'll meet you at the end here, and like always, you close off the gap or you finish off your round by making a slip stitch into the 3rd chain stitch of your first double crochet. I'll see you at the end of the round. There we go, this round is finished, and now you can see it's really starting to form and take shape quite nicely now. Every time you do a back post, you cause another row of raised stitches over there, and that's adding to the effect. So we've only been using double crochets, but when we're using it front post or back post, it causes our little pattern to really just pop out here. Now the next row that we're going to do will be our final increase row. So let's just make sure when you count your stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you had a raised stitch. Now remember, all of these were done in the back post, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 raised stitch. Now the next row, as I've mentioned, is our increase row again, and it's also our final increase row. So what we're going to do then is we're going to do our chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and once again in the stitch we're going to do our increase stitch. So there we have 2, and we're just doing it normal standard crochets, standard double crochet, sorry. There's number 3, number 4, and double crochet number 5, and then our front post. Remember, we keep the front posts all in the same stitch because we have to have this raised continuity going that we have already, that we've started on. All right, so once again, let's just, for in case you are not quite sure on the increase, we're going to do in the very first stitch after your front post crochet, we're going to put in 2 wool split. Let's fix that up. There we go. So in your first stitch you'll have 2 double crochets without any wool splits. All right. There's 1 and there's 2, and then 1 double crochet each in the following 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3, and then a front post crochet. There we go. So this one we're going to have a group of, there will be 5 stitches in our group, 2 in a first stitch, 3, 4, 5, and a front post crochet. Once again, I'll meet you at the end of the round. And there we have it, another row done. Now for our next row, we are going to change our combination slightly. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, and then our front post with our raise that we have going here. But now, as you can see, this is now beginning to become quite large. Not large, but the gap is, there's a gap growing between our front posts. So the following, the row that we're going to do now, we're going to make a slight change in the row. Let's go. So we're only going to work with these 5 stitches. Now, remember I've said that we are no longer increasing. This is all the increase that we need. So we're only going to be working on these stitches. However, here comes a slight difference in our pattern. We start off with our 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a back post crochet, The next stitch, so stitch number 3, is going to be a standard double crochet. Stitches 4 and 5 will be back post double crochets again. So there's stitch number 4, and then stitch number 5. And now we'll do our front post again. Got it? So you will do back post, standard, back post, front. Let's do the next group. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose there. Apologies. So we go back post, standard double crochet in the top of the stitch, then back post, not too many loops, and front post double crochet. If you see that your crochet work is a little bit loose, just give it some time, because when we get to the end, you'll see that it's a very forgiving stitch. It will pull in nicely again. But then, of course, if you've decided that it is too loose for you, you can always just change down to a smaller crochet hook. All right, and that's how we're going to complete this row. So we're working with our 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our front post. So we're going to do back post, regular double crochet, back post, and front post. And as always, I'll meet you over here. And another row complete, or a round rather. Right, so now we did back post, a standard double crochet, back post, front post. Got it like that? Remember, I said that we are no longer increasing. So now we are only going to work on these group of stitches that we have here. Now for our next row, we're going to do the following. We're going to start off with our 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to have a standard double crochet. Then we're going to have a front post. Remember that we want the one that we did as a standard crochet in the previous round? It now becomes our next front post double crochet. Then 2 more double crochets, and then a front post double crochet again. So now our rhythm changes slightly. Let's go. Double crochet, front post double crochet, double crochet, and you guessed it, front post double crochet. And that is how we will complete this round. So it's double crochet, front post, double crochet, a front post. So you can see now we're adding an extra raised stitch just to break up this big gap that we were starting to have here. So now we're adding a front post crochet. So you will have double crochet, front post, double crochet, front post. Let's go through it again. Double crochet, front post, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, front post, double crochet. I'll meet you up here. Remember, slip stitch into the third chain. See you now. Alrighty. Now this row that we've just completed, we've got double crochet, then front post, double, double, front post. This is the first row of a 2-row repeat that we are going to use now to finish our rows on our beanie. So you're going to have double crochet, front post, double, double, front post. That is your first round. The round that we're going to do now will be your second repeat row. You'll have double crochet, back post, double crochet, front post. So it's double crochet, back post, double crochet, sorry about that, back post, double crochet, front post, back post, front post. So that will be your second repeat row. So the one that we've done now is row number 1, and the one we're going to do now is row number 2 in our repeat. Now we are going to repeat these 2 rows up to where your little beanie measures 17 centimeters. So what you're going to do now, you're going to fold it in half like this, nice and flat, and put it down on a surface, on a flat surface preferably, so, because if you can't measure this on your lap, it's not that it's not that firm. So I do advise that you put it down on a flat, firm surface. You've got it folded nice in half there, and you are going to measure from your top and down. And can you see now I'm currently on 10 centimeters. You've got to now continue until it measures 17 centimeters. We're not done yet by the time we get to 17 centimeters. We're going to first put in a color change. So for the purposes of this exercise, we are now going to crochet up until we have 17 centimeters. And you have to end on a second row repeat. So the row that you're going to do now, that will be your second row repeat. So you have to end, when you get to your 17 centimeters, you have to end on a second row repeat. So like I've said, the one that we've just completed now, where we had our double crochet, front post, double crochet, front post, is row 1 of our repeat, and row 2 of our repeat, the ones like we've done already, but let's just do it again. We're going to start off with our chain. Ooh, what am I doing here? A real boo-boo. There we go. So we're going to do our chain 3 to start off. 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, I'm really having a jolly time with this one now. Maybe I should watch what I'm doing. 3. Then we do a back post, double crochet. We do a front post, double crochet. Back post, double crochet. Back post, double crochet. And front post, double crochet. And just because I fumbled on the first one, let me do another one with you. Back post. You see now I fumble again. It's because I'm laughing now. Sorry. Back post, double crochet. Oh, I'm going back to beginner's class here. Back post, double crochet. Back post, double crochet. And front post, double crochet. And then we do back post, back post, I'm trying to crochet a bit loose so that you can see the stitches, but now I'm managing to really pull it to pieces here. And front post. Okay, there we go. So you'll have back post, front post, back post, front post. So that is your second row for your repeat that we're going to do now. And I'll meet you at the end of 17 centimeters. If you would like to rewind the video and make sure that you've got everything down, you're more welcome. I would suggest you do it now. So yes, row 1 on our repeat now is double crochet, front post, double crochet, front post. And the second row repeat is back post, front post, back post, front post. And then you're going measure, you will measure your beanie, your slouchy hat from the center here down, and it must measure 17 centimeters, and you need to complete it, your 17 centimeters, with the row that you are doing now with your back post, and front post crochets. I'll see you in 17 centimeters. And here we have it. If you measure with your tape now, from our little center there all the way down, I now have 17 centimeters, and you can just count your raised rows here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 all the way down here. Now, obviously, we're not done yet. So if you looked at this and you thought, this is too small, don't fret. We're going to add some color to this one now. You can, however, do 4 more rows plus 2. So that will be a total of 6 more rows. When you get to your 17 centimeters, you can add 6 more rows, and that will then be the end of your hat. But there's a little surprise that I've got in store for you for the very last 2. So if you would like to stick to one color, you will do 6 more rows, and then you stop and you wait for me. But if you would like to change your colors, now would be the time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change to my next color. I'm going to have 4 rows in this color here, and then I'm going to end it off possibly with more of the beigey color, or the creamy color that I have here. So I'm going to do 4 rows in my, what's this, stone, I think is this color. Yes, this color is called stone. So I'm going to do 4 rows in stone, and then I'm going to do possibly 2 more rows either in this beigey color, or maybe I'll choose another color. So in total now, you've got your 17 centimeters. It's at 17 centimeters that you now do your color change. So you can either add 6 rows in the same color, or you can add 6 rows in the next color. Who knows, I might just stick to stone and finish the 6 rows, or you can have a second color change at the bottom, or a third one rather. You can have your main color, you can have 4 rows in your next color, and then you can have 2 rows in a final color that will match with that. But in total, once you've got your 17 centimeters, you need to add 6 more rows in either the same color, or 4 rows in your next color, and then 2 rows in your final color. And once you've got those 6 rows, I've got a little surprise for you on how to end off your slouchy beanie hat. So I'll see you in 6 rows. And here we are now at the end of our color changes that we've done. So remember, before we broke away for a quick break, when you measure your cap, your beanie, from here all the way down to where I did my first color change, that was 17 centimeters. Then I did 4 rows in a different color in my color change, and I've now decided to go back to my beige, or ecru like they call it, ecru. I'll have to go check the pronunciation of that one. And I did 2 more rows. Now this is done. Our pattern section is done. We now need to finish off our beanie, slouchy hat, whichever way you would like to call it. And in order for us to do that, we have used double crochet throughout. Now I'm going to teach you something new. We are now going to finish off with 2 rows all done in single crochet. Now each time we started a new row, we did 3 chains and then we went ahead with our double crochets. Now I'm going to do 1 chain. That is just to bring my yarn up for now, so I just want to do another one just so I can see where my start of my line, my row is. Listen to me, my round is rather. Now I'm going to do a single crochet. Now when we did the double crochet, we had yarn over needle like that, and then we would go into the stitch. But now we're going to do single crochets, which means that we don't have to have yarn over needle. So what you're going to do, without putting the yarn over the needle, you will then enter into the next stitch, again into both the loops. Just grab the yarn from behind, bring it through, yarn over. You see you've got the 2 stitches now, and now we pull through. And the next one, remember, if we do it like that, you're going to start your double crochet. We only want to make single crochets now. So into the next stitch, there we go, both loops, grab the yarn, bring it forward and pull it through. Another one, we go into the stitch, grab the yarn, bring it back, yarn over and pull through. And that is how you do a single crochet. Let's do a few more. Put the crochet hook in, grab the yarn, yarn over and pull through both the loops. The final one for now. Put the crochet hook in, grab the yarn, bring it to the front, yarn over and pull it through. And that is how you do your single crochets. Now I want you to do 2 rows of single crochet. So you're going to finish this one. When you get, like always, when you get to the beginning here, you will just make a slip stitch into your stitch that you can see there. That's why I like to make 2 when I do this, just so I can see my stitch more clearly. It's just me making sure that I get the correct stitch here. You're going to make a slip stitch into your stitch there, and then do 2 chain stitches again and do a second row of single crochets. And if you've done that, your hat is done. I'm going to see you after my 2 rows of single crochet. And there we have it. I finished my 2 rows of single crochet, and you can see it now, it rounds it off nicely. Now to finish off here, wool over. Oops, I've already done it, haven't I? Yes, I have. Let me just show you what I've done. Wool over, and I pull it through, and then give it a snip there, and we just pull it through like that. Now I'm going to take my tapestry needle, and I've got a few little bits and pieces here that I need to work away quickly. Once I'm done with that, how do you like that? I think it's rather lovely. It feels nice when I squish it. I like squishing stuff. If you would like, you can maybe make a little flower and put some a little flower on your little embellishment. Of course, once I'm done with this and all the wool has been worked away, I'll put my branding on it. So let's just get some branding out here. Here we go. I'm not going to put any flowers on, but there we go. The branding is on, but you are more than welcome to add a little flower. And that is how we make a beanie. So when you put it on now, you can always just squish it a little bit, but that's the effect that you're going to have from behind. Keep your ears nice and warm. And I hope you are going to come and show me all the different colors that you've made. Have fun. I trust you enjoyed this. Always remember, subscribe. You'll see that at the bottom there somewhere, there's a little, the wording is there to say subscribe. That way you will always be notified if there's a new video that I've released. Have fun, be creative, and I'll see you again soon.